So I just got back from the 2024 Formula One Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. In this video, I'll share the race, my experience over the weekend, and some helpful tips if you plan to attend this race in future years. Although the Canadian Grand Prix has been part of the F1 World Championship calendar since 1967, it was first held here at Montreal's Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in 1978. It's a 4.3 kilometer track on the man-made Notre Dame Island that requires 70 laps over the course of the race. It's known for its demanding layout with numerous challenging turns, occasionally having groundhog interlopers on the track, and it's always a fan favorite on the calendar. So first, assuming you're going to come, which grandstand should you sit at? Well, the best place to sit depends on your preferences for viewing angles, proximity to key sections, and of course, your budget. If I'm going to splurge on anything at a race, it's on the ticket. I'm going to be sitting in that seat for at least 10 to 12 hours over the course of the weekend, so I want my own seat, a great track view, and the ability to watch the race on a large TV monitor as well. I sat in Grandstand 1 this year, which is the most expensive regular non-hospitality grandstand. It's situated directly opposite the grid and the finish line and gives a great view of the race start, pit stops, and podium celebrations. The seat for the entire 3 days totaled $722 US, although there are plenty of other grandstands that are significantly cheaper than that. Another popular choice of grandstands includes 11 and 12, which are located at turn 1, the center corners. They provide an awesome view of the cars braking heavily and navigating the sharp right-hand hairpin. Along turns 6 and 7 is the family grandstand. I know that this grandstand offers reduced price admission to children accompanied by adult ticket holders. There's also a family zone nearby with bounce houses and kids' activities. Grandstands 34, 21, 15, and 24 are all situated on the hairpin. Now, I've heard this is a great option, especially for photography, since it's in the slowest part of the track and a great location for overtakes. Also, because there's so many fans in this compact area, it's almost a stadium-like atmosphere. After the race, I walked the track through this area, and I think it would be an amazing place to watch the race from. The grandstands at the hairpin are also the closest to the metro station, so especially if you want to minimize your walking or get out in a hurry after the race, these grandstands could be a really good choice. So let's talk about the general admission areas. If you're a casual fan who just wants to experience the atmosphere of the race, general admission is a far more budget-friendly option. This allows you to roam around the different parts of the circuit, but you don't have an actual assigned seat. Keep in mind, the whole island is flat, meaning you're viewing the circuit from ground level, and there's at least 1 or even 2 fences that you'll have to look through. The few decent vantage points in general admission are packed hours before the race. So for a real fan, I would strongly suggest spending a bit more on a grandstand ticket. So once you've got your ticket, what should you bring? There's plenty of food and beverage outlets at the track. Lots of local food trucks were set up as well. And I was surprised that many of the food prices were actually quite affordable. But the quality and wait times can vary a lot. You're allowed to bring your own food and beverages in a cooler or backpack as long as it's no larger than these dimensions. And no surprise, you can't bring any glass or alcohol purchased off-site. And they do a bag check prior to entry into the track. So in addition to your tickets and any food you might bring along, I'd suggest you bring the following as well. The entire circuit is cashless, so bring your credit card. If you're in the grandstands, a seat cushion, or bring a folding chair if you're in general admission. A few sealed bottles of water. There are some water refill stations around the circuit, but they can have long lines. A baseball cap or wide brim hat. Bring a disposable light plastic rain poncho, and also an FM radio if you have one to listen to track commentary. Although this year, American Express handed out free FM radios to Amex cardholders. It's a wise idea to also bring a power bank. Whatever you bring, keep it light and compact. There is quite a bit of walking, and although most of the pathways within the circuit are paved, you're going to often cut across grassy and muddy areas. Since it rained on and off throughout the weekend, I encountered a number of slippery and muddy pathways and puddles. Make sure you wear comfortable shoes that have a bit of tread and that you won't mind getting dirty. So you have your ticket, you're packed and dressed. How do you get there? Well, first get to Montreal. From downtown, it's an easy metro or subway ride on the yellow line, which is line 4 to Parc Jean Drapeau. That's the station nearest the circuit. I was in town the entire weekend, so I bought an unlimited 3-day pass for the Metro for 19 Canadian dollars. If you take the subway to the track, make sure you buy your round-trip ticket at departure so you don't have to line up to buy a ticket when you come back. Once you exit at the Parc Jean-Drapeau station, just follow the signs to your viewing area of choice. It is all very well signposted. So let's talk about the flow of the weekend. There was a pit lane walk for fans on Thursday, but I didn't get there till Friday, so unfortunately I had to miss that. Access to that was done through a free raffle that ticket holders could opt into. I also didn't get to Montreal in time to see Free Practice 1 on Friday, but I was able to get there in time for Free Practice 2. At an F1 race, Friday is always the least busy day. So if you want to explore and take advantage of some of the activities around the circuit, you won't have to wait in as many lines if you do them on Friday. Some of the non-race activities around the circuit included the F1 Fan Zone, which had a number of games including a reaction challenge, pit stop challenge, driving sims, virtual driver selfies, and a bunch more. There's also large TVs in the fan zone to watch the action if you don't get a spot near the track. The Monster Energy compound has a motocross and skateboarding shows, live music, a bar, and immediately following the race, they handed out free Monster Energy drinks there. The beach zone has a sandy beach on the inside of the circuit. However, the water is freezing and no swimming is allowed. This area also has a large number of picnic tables and chairs, as well as a big TV for showing the race. And if you're looking to get rid of even more money over the weekend, don't forget the casino is open 24 hours a day for the entire Grand Prix. Saturday is another free practice session and a few support races. This year it was the Porsche Super Cup and the Ferrari Challenge, then the F1 qualifying. Qualifying is what brings in the big crowds. Sunday, of course, is the main event. This year the race started at 2, but there was a lot going on well before the race starts. We arrived at the circuit at 10:30 and there was already a sizable line to go through the bag and ticket check. That took us about 30 minutes. Then we had another 25-minute walk to our seats. If you want to watch the driver's parade and all the pre-race warm-ups, try to be in your seats by 2 hours before the race. From my seat in Grandstand 1, there was a ton of activities to view. All the grid lineup happens here as well, the national anthem and other pre-race performances. The conditions over the whole weekend varied between sun and rain. The disposable plastic poncho I bought was probably the best dollar I have ever spent. The race itself was amazing. Between the variable conditions, the large number of overtakes, and the varied pit strategies, my seat was in the perfect vantage point. I watched the podium ceremony from my seat, then I joined the tens of thousands of fans in the post-racetrack invasion. I was able to walk almost half the track after the race, from the finish line all the way down to the hairpin. This turned out to be an ideal way to get close to the exit of the circuit and stay out of the overcrowded, slow-moving lanes on the pedestrian footpaths. This year, close to 350,000 spectators attended the Grand Prix over the weekend. That's a lot of people to cram onto a small island. Since most attendees take the Metro to the circuit, there are huge lines around the station following the race. Don't plan on being anywhere anytime soon at the end of the day. I'd suggest taking your time leaving the circuit. Have some food or beverages, walk around as much of the track as you can, and relax a bit in the park before heading to the Metro. If you can wait 2.5 to 3 hours after the race, there will be hardly any lines at all. The 2025 Canadian Grand Prix is happening June 13th through the 15th. If you're thinking of going to this race, book everything ASAP. Tickets go on sale Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. And if you can free cancel, I'd suggest booking your lodging now. If you found this valuable, a like and subscribe is sincerely appreciated. Don't hesitate to post your questions or comments, and I'll see you in Montreal next June.